Hello friends, I'm Akash and a hearty welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 2 of the differences between American English and British English. Part 1 is in the link up here. The original British English and the newer American English are both awesome in their own ways. So let's take a look at 10 more of the coolest differences between American English and British English that we come across in our daily lives. So let's start with number 1. In America, we say cilantro, and in Britain, they say coriander. Now, as you can see, in Britain, the term coriander given to this plant actually probably derives from ancient Greek choris, which means bedbug. Yeah, they did actually name it bedbug because of its fetid smell. Just apparently, the ancient Greeks probably didn't think it smelled too good. And when the Greek term came into Spanish, it became cilantro, and that is now the American term for this plant. So that's where cilantro versus coriander came from. Alright, time for number 2, the American term overpass versus the British term flyover. Both of these names make sense. An overpass is a way to pass by the ground level roads by going over them, and a flyover allows you to fly over the traffic below. In America, though, the word flyover can also be used to designate an overpass that goes over other overpasses. Yes, this is a common thing in larger cities in order to allow for faster travel by just having overpass on overpass on overpass. And that's why we call some of those higher ones the flyovers. Now, on the subject of higher roads, let's talk about highways and motorways. That is our third one today. The American highway system is named because it is one of the main or high roadways in the country. So the main roadway or the high roadway is the highway. As for the motorway network from Britain is named because it's, well, a motoring roadway, motorway. Now, our fourth one is going to be the American gasoline or gas versus the British petroleum or petrol. Now, the equivalent of food for cars is gasoline or petroleum. Now, the common name for this is petroleum, but in 1862, British publisher John Cassell, yep, he was a publisher, but he introduced his very own brand of petroleum named Gasoline, after his last name, Cassell. He'd found out that there was a man in Ireland selling counterfeit gasoline, so he sent the man a letter asking him to stop. Now, this con man out in Ireland just didn't. Instead, he changed the letter C into a G to avoid getting sued. That's a very interesting story, and it might as well be the origin of the word gasoline. Now, Oxford dictionaries did find a spelling, gasoline, with an E-N-E at the end. And when North America learned of this term, we started spelling it with an I-N-E at the end, hence creating the name we know today, gasoline. And it's called petrol in Britain as short for the original name, which is petroleum. And since Americans specifically like to shorten absolutely everything, making it easier for us, the word gasoline became gas. Number 5. What do you send letters through? Americans say it's the mail, and Brits say it's the post. While mail and post are interchangeable, it is more common in America to use the word mail, as in mailman, which derives from the old French word for bag, and in Britain to use the word post, as in postman, which originally referred to traveling on a horse, which is one of the first major ways that people could send letters all the way back when this form of transportation became big. When sending letters, it's typical to write the address of the recipient on the envelope, and that way we can also see the geographical code that's used to distinguish the area of the recipient more clearly. So, what do you call this? Well, in America, the primary word for this is zip code, whereas in Britain, the primary word is postcode. Now, obviously, the name postcode comes from the code that's used by the post, but when America started a variant of this concept in 1963, they named it the Zone Improvement Plan, or ZIP. Now, the concept was that with this system in place, the mail would just zip along faster, hence the name. And over time, zip code became the commonplace term, succeeding postcode as the name in America. And that is where the name zip code came for America against the name postcode in Britain. Now, what do you call time off from work? Americans would say vacation, while Brits would say holiday. So let's take a look at this. In American English, the word holiday usually describes a day of celebration, like Christmas or Halloween or even Independence Day. These are all holidays. But the word vacation describes a break from work that's given to leisure. Now, in British English, however, the word holiday is more commonly used to describe this break from work as well as the day of celebration. Now, you can see they're very similar meanings, but they are not the same, and it's very important to note this. So, vacation is the American term, and holiday is the British term for a break from work that's given to leisure. Alright, here is a bit of a confusing one for number 8, faucet versus tap. While the most common word for the valve that releases water in the sink is called tap, as in tap water, America's primary usage of the word faucet is rather unique. It probably derives from the Latin fauces, meaning throat, because, well, let's face it, that's sort of what it is. And by the way, the word that is used by professional plumbers for this is spigot. So, tap is the British term, faucet is the American term, and spigot is the professional term. Alright, now time for number 9 is the term used to describe those heavy vehicles designed to carry large materials. In America, we call it a truck, while in Britain, it's called a lorry. The American name truck came from the ancient Greek word trachos, which means wheel, and this definition was later expanded to include wheeled vehicles that carry heavy loads. And starting in the 1930s, the modern-day cargo vehicle known as a truck. On a related note, the pickup truck is the American name for one of those cars with an open extension at the back, which is used to place material inside. Compare a normal one of those large trucks, which has a large container. A pickup truck instead has an extension at the back of a normal car. Now, the British name for these larger trucks is lorry. And no, it's not the Big Bang Theory's Chuck Lorre, is a totally different person here. But the origin of lorry, L-O-R-R-Y, is unknown. But we do know it did have some relation to the rail industry, which makes sense because it's a form of transportation. And cargo transportation was one of the most important things when trains were at their heyday here in America. It might come from an obsolete word, lurry, L-U-R-R-Y, which meant to carry along, but that might not be the case. And the word lorry went into modern-day conversation in the 1900s. And now, let's end this video with one of the best known differences of them all. It's time for pants versus trousers. This one is undeniably common, one of the biggest differences you'll see. America says pants because it's short for pantaloon, an old foolish character from ancient Italian comedic plays. It became used to describe the leggings of these pantaloons, and now trousers in general were called pantaloons. Now, this word is being brought to America, and the word is now shortened because, well, we love to shorten everything and make it easier. Therefore, pantaloons became just pants. That's where the American term for this comes from. As for the British name, trousers, all we really know is that it comes from the Middle Irish word trus, which is from an uncertain origin. Now, I really love these types of words. It are one of my favorites. If I missed anything, please comment it down below, and I truly appreciate it. And make sure to check out part 1 of this video right here. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you like my videos, then make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you don't miss my new videos every time I upload. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Love you, Akash.